So you start doing your thing, and eventually your spirit moves through the thick walls and inside the fortress. You do not have a lot of time. You can do two things. Tell me what you want to do. Do you want to explore near the gates? Do you want to explore the walls? Do you want to look for supply lines where the soldiers are sleeping? Do you want to look for the main buildings for some important people? Do you want to look for the artillery weapons? What do you want to do?
I want to take a look at the gate and sort of the way that it functions, where the controls for it are. And the second thing is I want to be up at least a little bit higher, so I can kind of look over the fortress and try to get a feel for where these siege weapons are on the wall, and if there's one nearby, sort of attempt to understand how it works or how you would disable one.
Right, the gates are pretty easy because your spirit actually enters nearby them, so it doesn't take you much time. As you take a look around the gates, they're pretty well built. These things are meant to last. So it's gonna be no small feat for somebody's decision to get through them. However, with a few well-placed explosive barrels, this should prove to be quite easy to get through. So, as your spirit looks around the gates, sadly you don't see any barrels nearby that may fit the bill for explosives that you are specifically looking, that's used, you know, for ammunition for the weapons. As your spirit starts floating over the camp to get a quick general view, you manage to easily spot a few siege weapons peeking through. They're just peppered around the fortress, not stored in any particular order, and there's quite a few barrels around them. Something else that catches your attention is that near the main building that seems to serve like a commander's base of operation, there seems to be quite the commotion. And yeah, you see that there's a meeting being placed there, and all the important generals are inside. All the guards that are meant to be on duty outside of that room have been called off. So there's nobody on that inside that building but the important MVPs.
I mean, I guess if I have time, you know, I'll listen in. But if not,
considering how you did things, I'm gonna say that you probably have a minute or two to just get some snippets if you wanna take a peek.
Yeah, I'll listen in.
You don't really recognize demon species too much, but you know some important demons when you see them, because you just looked at a lot of mukes down there. You saw a lot of goblins, you saw a few orcs. Inside the room, you also see a bunch of orcs. They seem to be a bit more older. You see that they carry themselves in a different manner, and they seem a lot more, shall we say, sociable and mannered. However, the person sitting in the chair behind the desk, the important seat, is actually neither a goblin nor an orc. It seems to have a more humanoid presence, and it's definitely a different species of demon. But you quickly recognize it's a demon because of the clear difference in looks and the way the being carries itself. Nobody seems to have noticed your spirit, by the way, as you're listening in on the conversation. You see that the orcs are quite troubled. They seem to be in quite an uproar because they have the commanders are making a point that they have overextended their position, and they are quite vulnerable until reinforcements arrive. The demon sitting in the chair doesn't seem to pay their concerns any mind. Right, let's see what you managed to hear. Short time. Okay, I think that's good enough. This woman's voice booms out over the room. If you are feeling inadequate for the job, I will be happy to appoint somebody else to do it for you. No, that's not it. But it's just our reinforcements won't be here for a few more days. What if the humans attack us until then? They seem to be getting ready for a siege from what my spies have told me. Then you will hold the position until reinforcements arrive or until you're all dead. I don't care which happens first. The orc is about to lose his temper again. This woman quickly draws a blade seemingly out of nowhere and beheads the demon. Who is second in command? One of the orcs raises his hand. Congratulations. You are now in charge. As I said, you will either all die defending this fortress, or you will see the reinforcements in a few days. Either way, I have helped you more than enough. I see that my weapons have done an adequate job to help you win this part of the world. Now, since the testing is over, I will be taking these weapons back with me for tuning. Have them prepped along with my ship. We leave tonight. I can't wait to get away from this corpse-infested battlefield. The smell is simply dreadful. Now make all the necessary preparations. And with that, your spirit fades.
All right, I'll pass on the information.
It's the kind of castle that it's very difficult to get in, but it's also very difficult to get out.
Great. So it's basically a do or die castle. Otherwise, you defend this shit or you die.
Yep.
That's
Awesome.
That's why that woman told them you're either gonna survive and see the reinforcements, or you're all going to fucking die.
Oh yeah. Especially if a bunch of angry paladins storms this shit. Alrighty then. I suppose we're off, Theron.
All right, we'll see how things go.
Do you need me to make anyone invisible?
Do that as well.
Just to check, we're in it's broad daylight right now, right?
Yep.
Yes.
It certainly wouldn't hurt, and stealth isn't, strictly speaking, my forte.
And
Yeah, I'm gonna turn Theron invisible.
just like, since I have keen mind, how long is it gonna be until sundown? And is sundown presumably gonna be like so late that we won't be able to get in and get out before they're done with the ship bullshit?
You have hours until sundown. It's gonna take quite a while to get those massive weapons on the airship.
We
I was
steal
wondering if we
the
can-
airship.
I'm basically just wondering if we can afford to wait until sundown. I was thinking that it would be cool if we can actually fly it.
If
but I
you
don't think we
wait
can fly it.
too long, they're gonna start taking the barrels away, so...
Yeah. Well, I assume we might both have to be made invisible, considering.
Vira, how long does your invisibility last? Is there any limitations?
The invisibility lasts for up to an hour.
How does it affect stealth? Does it give a bonus?
You can't see them. So
Yeah.
as long as they're not making noise, they're undetectable. Also, it is a concentration spell, so I can only make one of you invisible.
Doesn't
Or
it
you cast it at a higher
Okay.
level.
But doesn't it basically, in that
No,
case, make us able to take the hide action without being actually, covered by anything?
Oh yeah, I can.
Shouldn't that basically be how it
I
works?
can make both of you invisible.
Right, so you're gonna make both of them invisible, I assume.
Yep, and then I sit there and meditate, concentrating on the spell.
Okay, that being said, though, again, how are you gonna make it inside?
Well, presumably by climbing, since that's the only option.
Yeah,
It seems
to
so.
be.
So both
Oh,
of you
good
give
at
me a climb
climbing.
check. Anyway, you guys are up the wall. Sadly, it took you half an hour to get to this point, so half of the invisibility is gone.
Alright.
Well, I mean, it doesn't fade over time, it just abruptly ends.
Yep, so you guys better make that time count.
I'm gonna be sprinting. I'm gonna be
Sprinting
for...
probably makes a lot of noise, are you sure?
Fine. Power walking.
Okay, if you're power walking, I'm gonna give you a bonus to your stealth, so that's gonna be fine. With power walking, I'm gonna say that you're gonna make it to the main courtyard of the fortress within 5 minutes. Considering, because you have to avoid a lot of people, doors, and all sorts of stuff in the way, that's why it's gonna take you a few minutes. Is that okay?
You know what I just realized?
Yeah.
We have no idea where the fuck the other one is.
Where what is?
I mean...
Since we're both invisible, how the fuck would we know where the other one is?
Very difficult without you making noise.
Yeah. But I mean,
I'm gonna assume that you're at least heading in the general direction of each other.
I mean, I assume that that Theron actually told me where the fuck the shit is. I know where to go.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
have a general vague idea.
Yeah, okay, good.
I mean, eventually you're gonna see just floating barrels, so you're gonna know where he is.
Yeah, but like, well, anyway, like I make my way in the same direction, and
I know right where to go. Yeah.
Considering you guys, I'm gonna assume that you guys are headed straight for the nearby barrels, right?
presumably.
I guess, or ones that are closer to the gate where I saw that I could stash them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that you're probably gonna go for the more convenient ones that takes up less time, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, around them there's gonna be like a few random soldiers on patrol. Nobody's really standing in place. They're just patrolling left and right around the barrels.
How many guards?
There's quite a few guards because there's a lot of people here, but those that may specifically notice something going wrong are probably 3 or 4 at most. The rest are just around the area. Each barrel is about 50 pounds, so Theron, I'm gonna assume that you're probably gonna be able to take a couple.
Oh, I'm sure. Alright, side question. Can I quietly rage carry? Can I rage carry the barrels?
Presumably not.
Quietly?
You know what? I like the sound of that, so do it.
Alright. I'll use one of my rages and I will rage carry these barrels invisibly.
This is amazing. Ash, make sure to make a note for random DF moments. The invisible raging barbarian is sneaking away with the barrels.
Okay.
How many barrels are you taking, Theron?
I mean, what would be feasible? I mean, with a strength of 18.
Don't you have a carrying capacity?
Oh yeah. Hold on. Jeez, I don't even remember the math before I become encumbered. Give me a second.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous when you get up to high bonuses.
Also, I mean, it's not like he's actually raging. He's just
Tell you what,
determined to bring all the groceries in one trip.
Tell you what, assuming Alyssia can handle 1 barrel, which I assume she
To
can.
be fair, all men get a +4 bonus to that, Amanda.
Jeez.
How the fuck
Alyssia,
is
you can carry 1 at least, right?
I actually need to figure out how much I can carry.
Like the barrels are about 50 pounds each.
Yeah, like where the fuck is the table for carrying capacity?
Somewhere.
Fuck me.
God damn it.
Tell you what, I'll gym code.
Because,
I'm
like,
pretty sure that you can at least handle 1. Even
Yeah,
with
like 1
mantra
barrel,
enchant
sure,
if
but
you
like
have
I'm
to.
just wondering how quickly. Like I have a strength bonus of -1, so.
I'm gonna say that even with mantra enchant you can at least manage 1, and Theron's probably just lugging around somehow 3 or 4. He's got like basically 2 barrels under his arms and another 2 barrels under the other. He's just fine. So
Okay,
you probably have enough barrels for the door.
So in order to carry them in a somewhat timely manner, I have to expend 1 mantle enchant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, then we can do that.
Yeah, you strengthen your arms and you easily manage to pick up 1 barrel. Considering Theron is lugging around 4, 5 barrels should be good enough to take care of the walls. I mean the gate.
Yeah.
Now the problem is getting there, because you're literally floating barrels right now. So, both of you, give me another stealth check. But
Actually-
this time...
Funnily enough, with invisibility, anything they pick up and are able to carry also turns invisible.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's got some really funny implications for
Wow,
certain
that's
things.
good. Okay, I'm gonna say that it takes you
That
at
is
least
ridiculously
another
powerful.
Yeah, it's
5
great.
minutes to
You
make
get someone
your
who's big
way.
enough to like pick up a tank, you invisibilate them, you teleport them in, and then
I'm
boom.
gonna say that it probably takes you another good 5 minutes to make it to the gates. Now, all of you, both of you roll me stealth at an advantage.
Fuck, I forgot it once again. I forget I've like switched my sheet around.
23, okay, Theron, you as well. You're both fine.
18.
You spend another 5 minutes. Luckily, the guards are not that focused on the inner side of the gate, so you don't have a lot of problems locating the good spots. You manage to stash the barrels in very nice spots where nobody's probably gonna notice them anytime soon, and they will be quite instrumental for blowing up the gate when the time is right. You've got about give or take 10 minutes of invisibility, and you are at the gate. What will you do now?
Okay, question. Did we leave any like the place where we got the barrels from? Did we leave any there that will then be loaded onto the ship?
No, leave what there?
Or
Oh, you
did
mean
we,
are
like,
there leftover
did
barrels
we
there?
get,
Yeah,
like,
there
are
are
the
a
barrels
lot of
left?
barrels there left.
Okay, great. And the barrels, like so now that we have carried a few of them, looking at the barrels, are they easy to open, or are they one of those barrels with like you have to fucking break them open?
No, they're actually not made to be open. There's just small holes for the, you know, like there's a small cork
Fuse.
that's presumably
Yeah.
for spilling out the liquid.
All right. What the fuck do I roll to see if I can find a way to stash the rock that Vendrik has enchanted on or in one of the barrels?
In one of the barrels, it's probably gonna be pretty difficult.
Right, or like it doesn't need even have to be like in the barrel, but it has to be somewhere that is going to be close to a barrel.
If it's
Or
close
even
to
on
the
top of
barrel,
the
it's
barrel.
probably gonna have a decent enough effect as well.
Yeah, but I need to find a place where I can hide the rock so that it will be transported with the barrel onto the ship, so that we can then blow up the barrel on
That's
the
probably
ship.
not gonna work.
God fucking damn it!
I mean, if anything else, the moment they see the rock, they're gonna notice there's something wrong with that rock, so... And since putting it inside the barrel under these conditions, it's next to impossible, yeah, those are gonna be bad odds for you. Doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
Suggestion. Give Theron your barrel, then throw the rock directly at the other barrels and quickly TP out.
Well, no, we don't want to blow this stuff.
What? No, that's not what I want to do. Like, what I want to
He
do
wants
is
to
plant.
sneak the explosives on the ship, basically.
Yeah, I want to sneak the rock onto with the barrels onto the ship so that we can blow up the ship.
Yeah, but sadly that doesn't seem like it's gonna work.
Unless, of course, I can find a way to hide inside the fortress and then sneak it onto the ship myself.
Yeah, that might work.
Right, I want to find a good hiding spot somewhere around the. Well, like, yes. Fuck, I don't know. Okay, see, we're not right now inside the castle or fortress. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no ship there right now, right?
You don't see any ship anywhere.
Right. Well, since it's presumably going to come in by air, I would need to find a hiding spot that is somewhat high up, but still out of sight for, like, hopefully all of the guards.
All the high
That'd be
spots
kinda
have
hard.
guards on them, so...
Yeah, of course they do. Fuck.
Considering you are an entirely different race from anybody else here, like, you can't exactly, you know, you're not a tree hiding in a forest, so the moment you become uninvisible, you're literally surrounded by hundreds of enemy soldiers, so
Yeah, that's a bit
sneaking
like
is gonna be a bit of a challenge.
I need basically what I need to find. Like I need to find a. In that case, I need to find a like completely untraveled like dark area somewhere in the fortress where I can wait for nightfall, because then I can sneak around on the guys at night, hopefully.
Well,
Honestly,
you saw
know.
the schematics and you'd know that that's probably not very likely. Not saying it's impossible, saying it's probably gonna be pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Alyssia is not going to, like, you know, cheaply give up her life to do anything like this. So, no, fuck that plan.
You've got about 10 minutes, give or take, of invisibility. You are still at the gate. What do you plan to do now? While you can't see each other, you notice that you just placed some barrels around, so you know you're nearby. If you want to communicate, you can do that.
How big is the rock that he was handed?
A fistful, I'm assuming?
I have no idea. I just grabbed some random rock off
Yeah,
the
it's
ground.
entirely up to
I'd say it's
Alyssia.
probably a fistful.
Okay, so like fist size. Because yeah, I was debating about if there was a way to fit it in one of the barrels.
No, sadly no.
Could I use? Well, no, I guess would I have had my pack with me?
Sure, why not? Of course you have it.
Then would I be able to use the crowbar in my pack to pry open one of the lids?
There are no lids to pry open. These barrels are custom made to not be openable. They basically have small holes from which the liquid is poured in and out. There's no way to open them. They don't seem to be standard barrels, they seem to be custom made for the job at hand. You can actually see that there are some handles on the side. Presumably they're actually meant to be fitted somewhere on the weapon, rather than just used as is.
I guess I'll kind of try to whisper then to
Alyssia.
to Alyssia, yeah. Would it be best to get the explosive rock in the hands of someone?
It would be best to get it into somewhere near the barrels so that it will detonate the barrels when it explodes.
Would people mishandling it cause it to explode?
Possibly.
Because one, we simply, I don't think, have the time to take it there ourselves. My remaining thing would be find one of these random guards who's by himself, kill him, we'll leave a bit of gold and the rock on with him clutching the rock, as if some sort of a scuffle happened. Maybe we just killed two of them. That way it looks like they killed each other. But that way they could, we could potentially get the rock into the hands of...
Wouldn't attacking break the invisibility?
Yeah, but we just teleport out. We teleport out. Like, I'm not, like, we're not starting a war. So we find two people who are by themselves. Each of us wrecks one of them. You know, sort of in an alley. Set it up and then GTFO.
Seems a bit far-fetched.
To kill two people? I think that's pretty easy.
No, that's fine, but what are you trying to accomplish by leaving the rock behind?
I don't know.
That it gets in the hands of someone who doesn't know what it is and mistreats it, and you have a bomb.
But then we still doesn't... Like, that would still mean we don't necessarily blow up the airship, which is the... well, only point of having an explosion in the first place.
You have 9 minutes of invisibility left.
Or casually leave the rock with one of the other piles of... like on top of one of the other piles of barrels. See if it gets brought with.
The problem is, unless we know for sure that it's actually on board the airship, then detonating rock might not have the effect we wish it to have at all. If it detonates inside a fortress, it might do nothing, or it... well...
Is the goal to just detonate this by the airship, whether there's a lot of the bomb powder or not?
Well, since we have now stashed the barrels, if it detonates inside the fortress itself, they might become suspicious and thus do a proper search, which means they might find the barrels.
So do you want to blow this up or not?
Unless we can definitely blow up the airship, I would say not.
As you guys are finishing up your conversation, you see that there's some motion in the main courtyard. You see that some of the guards are getting busy repositioning the siege weapons and repositioning some of the barrels. Looks like they're getting ready to move them out and start shipping them.
Do you want the airship to explode, like in the next 2 minutes or not?
Actually, hold a thought. Experta.
Yes?
The siege weapons that they are repositioning, they have some sort of barrel, right?
Yes.
Are any of the fuel containers right now connected to them? I would assume not, but I'm just checking.
Yeah, currently not, because the weapons are not set up for use.
Right, but they're keeping them in the same area, right?
Sort of, yeah.
Right. How far away is that area?
I'd say a good 50 meters or so.
So how long would it take me to sneak up, roll the rock down the barrel, and then sneak out again, and then basically get the fuck out?
I'd say it's gonna take you another 2 or 3 minutes.
Right then. Alyssia turns to Vendrik. No, not Vendrik. Theron, sorry. I'll be right back. And I'm going to activate Mountain Enchant on my legs because I have no fucking intention of getting caught.
That is gonna save you a minute.
Cool.
Plus, you don't need to roll a stealth check.
That too is cool. And like I said, I waltz up to the to the one of the siege weapons, roll the rock down the barrel, and then get the fuck out.
Okay.
Or we get back to
so
where
you guys
Theron
gonna
was.
start heading up the wall and try to leave?
I think we just teleport out. That's so much easier than climbing
Oh, if
back
you want,
out.
you can do that as well, right?
I mean, that makes the most sense. That's faster and safer.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you guys ready to teleport out?
Yep, basically.
Okay.
We don't want to
You
cause
guys
any more
teleport
havoc.
out. Luckily,
Okay.
the invisibility lasted you long enough for that ordeal. You even came out with a few minutes to spare. So you guys are back to relative safety.
Oh, you done?
And the barrels have been set up.
Yeah, it looks like for now we've got as much set as we can.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, it's kidding. Yes, I've also managed to deposit your rock in one of the weapons. Hopefully they will stash them close to the barrels and thus, well, we shall have some fireworks.
At the very least, the second that thing gets airborne, it'll be jolted around enough.
Indeed. Now, I suggest we get ourselves to a relatively safe position. Of course, close enough that you can still detonate it.
Are we going to detonate it now?
I would suggest we detonate it when we see that the ship is leaving. That way we know that the items are on board.
Don't actually have a manual trigger.
Huh?
That would have taken much more time.
Then what does it
It will
do?
detonate as soon as it feels enough pressure. Doesn't matter where I am.
So how will it detonate? How do you detonate it?
Like I showed you, I pick up another rock and tap it. Any bump harder than that, and boom.
So how do we get it to detonate on board the ship?
Well, Well, when it takes off, it's going to bump about.
Ah,
That was your idea, right?
well, I guess it's close enough.
Shall we then? A gesture across the river.
Yes,
Yeah,
it seems like
I
a good plan.
suppose we should head back.
Walking is for peasants, and I don't need to sneak anymore. Me and Vira out.
Well, fuck off, mate. Yep. I'm not walking on the bottom of the lake again.
Yep. Mage
Alyssia
supremacy.
finds her trusty log and swims back.
As you make it on the other end of the river in your own ways, which I'm assuming is similar to how you did it last time, you actually hear an explosion coming from the fortress. A horn is blared and there's quite the commotion, as apparently these weapons are not exactly, shall we say, well, easy to transport. They're quite big and heavy, so they clutter around quite a lot. And during that process, the rock that you put in there actually blew up. And while it was inside the cannon, it didn't manage to do much except cause a small burp-like fire to come out. The weapon itself wasn't set up properly, and the explosion triggered a shockwave that managed to damage the supports, meaning that the cannon came crashing down near the barrels that were stationed around it, because those goblins are idiots. And that caused quite a nasty explosion, destroying not only the barrels, the weapon, but also quite a few dumb goblins that were around the entire ordeal. And that has caused quite the commotion. You see, fire is slowly rising from the fortress.
That's going to make them very careful moving the rest of them.
Hey! What? Twice?
He got to the next